Once your sample has arrived and everything seems to be okay with the quality and you want to move ahead, then you can get your first inventory order confirmed. So what I recommend is to not place, and pay the whole amount to begin with. Pay a deposit, which can be, anything from 30 to 50%. It depends on the company, and make the payment through Alibaba. Make it through their system, and insist that this is the case, so you're basically protected by their trade assurance policies. This is optional, but I would also pick up the phone and just have a chat with your contact. It could be a little awkward, a little difficult maybe, but I've generally found, when I've been placing orders and dealing with manufacturers in China, they're generally very friendly, and they just want to do business. Obviously there are cultural differences, but in general, they tend to be relatively easy to deal with, and more often than not, they're the ones on top of you, wanting for you to move ahead with your order. So I usually find them to be very responsive. But just to make sure, there's someone there, that someone answers, I would just have a chat with your contact, and as long as you place your order through Alibaba's system, then you should be absolutely fine and protected. And like I say, place so many orders from companies in China, and I've never, touch wood, ever had a problem with any of them. So a few important notes when you're making your inventory order. And once your inventory order is made, it could be 3 days, could be 1 day, could be a month. It depends what your product is. But you will need to make sure firstly that your supplier, unless you did this in the sample stage and get your product branded and sent to you as it will be when you sell it on Amazon, if you might have done that in the sample stage. If not, you will want the supplier to send you one fully packaged product when your inventory order is ready, so you can take photos and do other marketing related activities with it. Then if you are shipping to the US from abroad, from China, assuming your product is being made in China, and your inventory order is under $2,500, which it will be for your first order, then using a courier, DHL, FedEx, etc., to get it directly to Amazon is fine. But if the order is over $2,500, then you might need to use a freight forwarding company, as bond and formal entry to the USA will be required in this instance. There's a very good link which I've included in the manual, which links to Shapiro.com, and they have a very good explanation about how it all works and how bond, entry, taxes, imports, all of that sort of stuff, how it all works in the USA. So I highly recommend that you read that. The other consideration is to use a professional packaging company, as in a packer, such as FBA inspection. What FBA inspection do, basically you would send, or you would ask your manufacturer to send your inventory order directly to them, and they're based in California, and they would open it up, they would inspect it for quality, they'd check if everything is, just check everything is okay, and they can also add in your product inserts, they can add in, they can even sort of package the product up for you. I mean, it depends what you're ordering. You could be ordering packaging from one factory, you could be ordering your product from another. Both of them get sent to the same location, FBA inspection, they pack them together, then send them off to Amazon. So they have actually quite a lot of different types of services, so it could be worth using them, because what you don't want is for a product to, or your first inventory order batch, to be sent directly to Amazon. Amazon list it, there's something faulty about it, and then of course the review is going to be terrible, and there's nothing you can do, and it's going to cost you an awful lot of money. So even though FBA inspection does cost, it could be worth using them, but again, it really depends on what product you are selling. So if you're going to be using Amazon FBA, you are going to have to sort of prepare your account. If you're based in the USA, this is pretty simple. If you're based in a number of European countries, it's also more simple, because than it used to be, because essentially it's all about the bank account. You need to have a bank account hooked up, and if you're in the UK or in a number of other European countries, and I think maybe possibly Australia as well, and South Africa, then you can use your foreign bank account in your Amazon.com seller account. If you're not in any of those countries, you can still do it, but you'll have to use a service such as Payoneer. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in this section. So there are a number of steps you're going to need to take. So step one, well, your manufacturer or supplier will send your product inventory to the fulfillment center. That's what will happen. That's step one. Step two, Amazon will store your products, customers will order your products, Amazon picks and packs your products, and then Amazon will ship your product to the customer. So that is essentially how the process works, and that's what you'll be doing when your products arrive at FBA. That's what you're going to need to be tracking. So you'll have a task list to do here, and I think this section is probably going to be better in text because it just gives step-by-step instructions about setting up your seller account, purchasing a UPC number for your product, adding FBA to your seller account, assigning your product to FBA and creating a shipment, and there's some additional important points as well. So rather than sort of run through this on a screencast, I think it's better that you read it and really try and understand it, because this is, without doubt, the most complex part of this whole system: setting up Amazon, setting up FBA, and making sure your products are labeled and packaged correctly according to Amazon's need. So read through this section carefully, and then of course you can email me if you have any questions.